Well, it's hard to believe that this year marks the 10th anniversary of Squidgy soft plastics. In some ways it seems like just yesterday, but there's also been a lot of water under the bridge and a lot of tide changes in those 10 years.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of squidgies go in that water that's gone under the bridge in Australia. I can say that from the time we were mucking around saying, do you think we should dye the plastic this colour, or should we dye it a bit lighter, or will we bend our hooks around a bit further and get some split shots and clamp on the end of our jig heads? It's been a long run.
It's been a great run. I can still remember walking into your backyard and seeing the tables laid out with all the little things that you've been dyeing and the hooks that you've been bending. But I think the most embarrassing moment was when he dragged me into the chemist shop to show me his favourite nail polish glitter. And the girls behind the counter thought it was a bit odd that this bloke was showing another bloke his favourite nail polish, but we used to paint the little jig heads and everything. So much has changed in Australian fishing in that 10 years. Soft plastics were virtually unused apart from a few people who chased flathead on them and a few people that chased barramundi up north. Now everybody fishes with soft plastics. We've got a generation that's come along that really don't know anything else other than soft plastics. They think squidgies have been around forever, but it's just 10 years that we've done this in. It's been quite a ride, hasn't it?
It's been a great ride, and I'm sure now that people just accept that soft plastics in Australia are a very important part of the scene, and now when we go fishing, we don't only think soft plastic, we do still think hard body and we think other types of lures, but certainly it's a major part of anyone's thinking, whether it's a brim tournament or a barramundi tournament. There's certainly a plastics aspect to it, and really, even though it's been 10 years, I mean, we haven't really run out of ideas. It's only a matter of putting the ideas in place and still manufacturing different things and designing different things. So we might have another 10 years left in us.
So when we started, we only had 3 tail designs. There was the shad, the wriggler and the fish. And we only had a couple of different jig heads. And since then the range has grown and grown, and things have come and some things have gone, and we don't let it remain static all the time. We keep adding new products, but we listen to you people too. We understand what you want to fish for, and we listen to what you've got to say about it. But then at the other end of the spectrum, we came out with the slick rig. Now that was a great story in itself. We didn't want to do an integrated hook and weight lure, did we?
No, I wasn't a big believer in it, but Terry Dunphy was really the man behind that. Terry really put a lot of work into that, and I think Ian Miller had a little bit of input into that as well. And Terry's come up with a fantastic lure, and really should be commended for it. He probably doesn't get the glory he should for that work.
Absolutely.
And that's a lure that's really fitted into the barramundi fishery like a key in a lock, and it still wins competitions on a very regular basis, and as a plastic lure, it's a very good lure.
And also we were always keen never to just copy something that was out there. Whatever we did, we wanted to make it slightly better than anything else that was around. So when we did an integrated hook and weight lure, like the original slick rigs, we made it so you could pull the weight out and you could swap the tails around, you could replace the torn up ones or whatever. It also allowed you to take it out, rig it weedless, put a different jig head in it, use a different system entirely. And I think this is perhaps the thing that people haven't quite picked up on, and Bushy's mentioned it a couple of times. It's a system, and it's made up of many different facets, and you can mix and match those facets. You can use a big heavy jig head with a little tail if you need to in a certain situation, or a big bulky tail with quite a small light jig head if you don't want something that crashes down and bombs to the bottom, you know. So we're still learning. We know you're still learning. A big part of this whole thing has been an education process. That's been a lot of fun. We've travelled the country, talked to tens of thousands of anglers face to face at squidgy seminars and squidgy nights. That'll continue. We've been writing magazine articles about it. We've been doing DVD segments. It's been a busy 10 years, but I think the next 10 years will be just as busy. And of course, we couldn't let our 10th birthday pass without doing something really special. And what we decided to do was to run a competition open to all you squidgy users out there, and someone is going to win the chance to actually go fishing with Bushy and myself in our boats, and you'll get to see how we work our squidgies. You'll learn a few tricks from the blokes who actually designed them. You'll also end up with a big swag of squidgies that'll keep you in fishing business for quite a few years to come. If you want to find out how, check out the latest Shimano and Squidgy catalogues. And until next time, we'll see you on the water.